had developed a nail fungus on my toenails. It was terrible. I mean, like, my toenails didn't fall off and I didn't get black toenails. Hey, Dana McNeill here, Call Coach Dana. Are you experiencing exhaustion, brain fog, joint pain, white tongue, hormone imbalance, chronic sinus issues, cravings for sweets like, oh my gosh, I have to have it, like a drug, digestive issues, weakened immune system, recurring UTIs, severe allergy symptoms, itchy ears, loss of sex drive, nail fungus? I mean, there are so many issues that have one culprit, and lots of those symptoms that I just mentioned to you are coming from an issue called Candida, yeast, or even parasites. And so there are some ways to definitely correct that, but I'm going to tell you, we can choose to put a Band-Aid on, or we can really fix it. So one of the first things that you can do, just depending on how severe your symptoms are and how recurring they are, but I'm going to assess and do an evaluation with you to kind of determine. But just for starters, one of the first things that we can do is to kind of go on a no sugar diet or a Candida diet. That just eliminates all sugars, even natural sugars, for a time, and puts you on a very low carb diet. That doesn't eliminate every single carb, but almost, for just a time. And it is going to starve out that Candida. You know, these Candida is a pathogen, and it causes illness. And our immune system, when it's weakened, it allows these pathogens to kind of take over our body. Everyone has some yeast, Candida, and even parasites. We all have some of those in our system. You know, we're exposed to them everywhere. But, you know, even on the lettuce that we buy, there's parasites, things that, you know, fruit and vegetables that you think, oh, this is so healthy and good, and it is. But in with that good comes sometimes some bad things as well. So anyway, it just depends on if those things become problematic, symptomatic, we want to address them. I know at one particular time I had nail fungus on my nails, and it was on my toenails. You know, you don't notice that so much because you get your nails done and, you know, you have toenail polish on. These days I don't wear nail polish on my hands ever, and I only use Color Street, no toxins in those, and so that's all I wear on my toes from spring to fall when my feet are exposed and I want my toenails to look cute. But for a long time, you know, especially being in the cosmetic business for years like I was, I always had my nails polished. I always had my toenails polished. And I didn't always see those because somebody was doing them for me a lot of times. And so I didn't realize that I had developed a nail fungus on my toenails. It was terrible. I mean, like, my toenails didn't fall off and I didn't get black toenails. If you're starting to see little specks of white on your fingernails or your toenails, that is yeast. It's yeast overgrowth. But all of those other symptoms that I mentioned to you, those, you know, you may kind of scratch those away and say it's that time of year, you know, it's springtime, it's fall. Of course, my allergies flare up. And, you know, that time of year, I always get a sinus infection because of all the pollen in the air. And, you know, my sex drive just isn't what it used to be because I'm older. And, you know, I do have some hormone imbalance, but, you know, I've gone through menopause. You know, so we just kind of make excuses for all of those symptoms. And for a long time, I did the same. And you go to the doctor a lot of times, and well-meaning doctors, and, you know, they're like, well, we can put you on a hormone patch, but, you know, this is just kind of normal. We'll see if this helps. And so it's just always seemingly putting a Band-Aid on things. But there are ways that you can kill off that extra Candida to where you take control of your body again. And I love the fact that I don't ever have to worry about exposing my toenails or my fingernails to anybody because they look great and they're very, very healthy. And I don't ever get a sinus infection. I mean, I used to always have a sinus infection. I would have a sinus infection, at least 2 times a year, sometimes 3, I would go on antibiotics for them every time. And my eyes became so itchy and watery, and even my lids would kind of get inflamed a little bit, that I had to quit wearing eye makeup. And I thought, and I would have a lot of customers at the time, when I was in cosmetics, and they would say, well, I just am allergic to mascara. I just can't wear this mascara. That it's not that at all. It's the Candida buildup in your system that causes there to be an issue. And yeah, when you quit wearing those things, it will help the symptoms somewhat, but it doesn't get rid of them. So there are many, many symptoms that I've named, obviously, but there are some things that we can do. So one of the things that I do as a coach is I recommend different protocols and different products. I always, always, always work with companies that provide products that I know have been very, very extremely tested and are very safe. So, one thing that I have learned, there are several products that you can get, cleanses and different products for yeast and that sort of thing off of your supermarket shelf or your box store shelf. And I know because some of these ingredients have been tested by a company that I'm very aware of. So you want to really make sure that you know who you're working with and that you know who you're buying your products from. So, so important. But, we can talk about fasting, and we can talk about cleansing, and we can talk about, lifestyle and getting rid of heavy metals, and, going on definitely a Candida diet for a while. And those things will definitely bring down that Candida, bring down that yeast, and get rid of your symptoms. It is also a balance, a dance. It's something that you're constantly having to work with. When your immune system is compromised, there are always going to be issues. And, I have that. And so many of you do, because I know the statistics are over 90% of Americans are walking around with compromised immune system. So I'm sure yours probably is too. And so I am here to help you, kind of walk with you through the journey, navigate for you, help you to know what to do when, where to get what from, and just kind of hold your hand and walk with you through that process and help you to get well and get better, and even make adjustments and tweak things as we go. So that is what I do, and I will tell you that Candida, yeast, and even parasites is no joke. It's nothing to play around with, and there are some very simple solutions for some of these things that work. And just going to a store and picking up a product here and there is not going to help you. It's really healing yourself from the cellular level down. It's sort of like an analogy was given. There's a doctor that I follow all the time, Dr. Daniel Pompa. He helped me get well years ago, and I am forever grateful to him and his cellular healing diet book, and his website is drpompa.com. So he definitely talks about a lot of these things and has a great protocol that I use so much of what he teaches. But, he is a very, very high dollar coach and is not even accessible for most these days. So, but fortunately, we're able to learn from great men and women out there who have blazed the trail, spend a lot of time and energy on our microbiome system, and teach us so much. So that is something that I definitely plug into and help you through. The analogy that he gave that I was getting to was that there was a little body of water where they had fish, and the fish were stocked in there, and the fish were doing great, and then all of a sudden the fish started dying, and they said, oh goodness, there's something in this water that's killing the fish, let's treat the water. And so they treated the water, and the fish would they would restock, and the fish would be fine, and then the fish died again. Well, so what they realized is there was a stream trickling down into the body of water, that upstream there was a major issue. Until you clean up the upstream, and this is something that Dr. Pompa teaches and preaches all day long, is clean up the upstream. And I am so in line with that in what I teach and how I coach. So we're going to tackle the real culprit. And sugar definitely feeds Candida, so we want to starve that out. But there are definitely some other toxins like heavy metals that do the same thing, and it's not just going to be a quick little fast or a quick little cleanse. It's a lifestyle change, and through any lifestyle changes, coaching is generally a necessity, because we don't tend to do things on our own. You know I'm right. How many times have you started a diet and you failed? How many times have you started to practice yoga and you quit? How many times have you joined a gym and you quit? How many times have you decided, I'm going to drink more water, or I'm going to walk, or I'm going to eat cleaner or healthier, and you just don't stick with it? And so it's just a matter of having that right support system in place, and I would love to be your girl. So subscribe here, click here, like, share, and check out all the ways you can follow me. I would love to have you join my shrink group on Facebook. The link is on my website. My website is callcoachdana.com. I'm happy to be on this journey with you. I want to see you have better health, better wellness, and be free of all these symptoms that just bog us down and make us crazy and make us feel like we're not all that we want to be. Come go with me. I would love to have you.